We are back with episode 9, people. It's been a while, Tom. It's
been
a while.
It has.
Crocodile.
I know. I've missed that face.
Oh, bless you. Bless you. I'd like to say I've missed your face, but no, I have. Of course I have.
Oh, thanks, man.
What have you been up to, mate?
Not a lot, dude. Just trying to not go crazy during the whole COVID stuff. Trying to keep mentally in the right place musically, which is easier said than done. I haven't done anything musically. Just haven't had the triggered inspiration, I guess, but it's coming.
Inspiration.
I just told you now, for you guys listening, Andy's working on this new tune that you'll get to hear later, and I'm laying down some guitar for it, and it's been like a week and a half now since Andy asked me to, and I was like, okay, I'll find the time this week. Today I sat down, I was like, right, I'll do this, and then my low E string snaps. My low E string, you know, the thick one that doesn't ever snap. Yeah, that's where I'm at musically right now. But other than that, it's good. Yeah, I've just been keeping busy, still trying to find a couple of singers. I thought I had the right person, but unfortunately, conflict of schedules.
Not to be. Yeah.
What about you, dude?
Yeah, kind of the same, to be honest. I'm just stuck in the house like you, doing a lot of writing with different artists. So, like I said last time, I've not taken on anything more. I've just been like doing more of what I've already got on, which is good. And we're going to kind of spin things up in this show. We're going to give you a wee demo of what we're working on at the end so that you guys can start to hear less of us just chatting and put our money where our mouth is, but we'll show you some kind of definitely unpolished and unfinished kind of music that me and Tom are working on. So yeah, we'll show some of that as well.
Excited to hear everyone's thoughts, and please let us know the good and bad.
Definitely. I mean, we're absolutely no experts, and you'll hear that from our demos as well. But it's always good to just show work in progress as well, because I think a lot of people just think that hit smash songs are just kind of dropped, into the ocean from somewhere, But there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and it takes hours. Like, I track the hours that I spend on some of my projects, and they are vast. Like, you're talking a project, 40 hours. But that's obviously from like inception of the original ideas through the mix process. So yeah, but we'll get into all that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Don't want to scare anyone now.
No, of course not. So the first song we've got here, we're going to kick off now, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hey guys, this is CMagic5. I'm a singer-songwriter and musician from Toronto, Canada. This is my new and debut R&B single called You Don't Know. I hope it gets you in your feels. Enjoy.
Like you know it, I don't really know why you're keeping me up through the night. The story goes on. I can't get you out of my mind. Got me feeling so high, got me feeling so low. Can't keep up no more, baby. Said I'm your favorite type. You don't know what I like. That's what's driving me crazy. You don't even know that, you don't even know, don't act like you care. Oh, you don't even know that, you don't even know. Hey. You're my living nightmare, I'm dead when you're gone.
Definitely got me some feels.
Yeah, she did that. She called it at the start. And,
she called it.
It got it. Yeah, dude. I'm not really like a pop music connoisseur, but I definitely liked it. I think her voice is really lovely, and I think the vocals are produced really well. One of the main things that stood out straight away, it's classic like the hardest attack and the hardest release on that compressor, on that guitar sample there. I don't know if it's a sample or an actual recording. I assume it's a sample.
Yeah.
Like I said, the vocals are really well produced. I really like the addition of the high falsetto harmonies there underneath everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really clever songwriting and production choice to add that. Always love a harmony, as you guys know. Oh, bless you.
Bless me, guys.
Whoa.
Bless me.
That's how much you felt that song.
Just caused me to sneeze.
I love the vocal ad-libs as well. Like behind everything, there's all the oohs and the ahs and the, everything you want from a good pop track.
Yeah.
It has. The lyrics are great. The chorus lyrics are good. Very easy to follow. Nothing more to say about that. And he's a lyric guy. I'll let him add everything.
Every week.
And when
You
I was
just
doing
put so
like
much pressure on me when you say that, Tom, every single week.
yeah, you'll get used to it. One thing I noticed whenever I do like a little bit of research on the artists beforehand, I have to say that she's done a great job marketing the song, because it's on a couple of like really, really highly engaged YouTube channels with different lyric videos for each one, which is interesting. Like we're talking like millions of subscribers on one of the channels she's got it on, which is kudos for some clever marketing there.
Big time, big time.
Like every week, we try and discuss and think about what we would add if we were in the songwriting session or the production booth. And for me, if I was joining the session, I found it a little bit difficult to establish a chorus, like to pick out an established chorus, from a production point of view. Usually there's a very noticeable change in the production from the verses to the chorus. And I was just finding it difficult to find it here, which can be quite confusing to a listener. I wanted to say a couple of really easy fixes for that is just literally turning it up a bit. Old school, not hard in any way, just automate the music bus up a couple of dB.
Yeah.
Maybe throw some
Shift it.
pads out wide, maybe some oohs, get the singer to just do some oohs, layer it 3 times with like a lower and upper third harmony, throw them out as wide as you can get, and there we go, the chorus pops.
Yeah.
And that's it really. I think it's just a really good pop song. I would just like a more established chorus.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that point, to be honest. That's one of the things I've written down. Just more structure for me, I think. Like you said a couple of things there. Another idea for me would be taking out a couple of instruments in the verse and then adding them in for the chorus, so you get that more dynamic shift, which you would get as well from automating the mix bus. So yeah, great song. I really, really enjoyed it. Those vocals are so well produced. Like the vocal production is really nice, and I especially love the air that she had on that vocal, and she performed it really well as well. So yeah, loved that. Really well balanced mix overall, and I loved the 808, just such a rich tone, and it sat so well, adding that low end in the mix. I'm a really big sucker for the alternating right and left channel hats. We've spoke about this before in the show, and it's done nicely here. It's just really decorating that kind of upper mid high frequency range. And I quite like the sassy vibes and the vocal emotion that she's kind of poured into the delivery of the song. Harmonies wise were in there. They were really reverby and quite ambient in the background. Really liked that, just decorating that mix. And I liked at times that they weren't completely following the lead vocal. They were a bit rhythmically like hanging on, which just again kind of saturated that mix a wee bit more. Lyrics wise, yeah, I don't know why you're keeping me up through the night and got me feeling so high, got me feeling so low. It's a clear tale of love sickness, and I can definitely relate to that song topic. That paints a very clear picture for me, and straight away I can revisit those horrendous feelings. So I know what that's like. So yeah, like good. In terms of critique, yeah, I mentioned it already, just more distinction with the chorus verse. And yeah, like I think the only other thing for me was The air in the vocal, as much as I've said that I loved it, see at the very, very start, it was just a bit too much for me. It kind of, I don't know whether they reduced it or if it got kind of overtaken by some of the other frequencies when the full mix came in, but just at the very, very introduction, it was just a wee bit too much for me. So maybe a couple of dB less there. But other than that, you know, throughout the rest of the track, it sat so nicely. So, you know, you can give or take that comment, to be honest. But yeah, really liked that. So thanks for sending that in.
Yeah. Also, vocal air is very much determined by either incredibly expensive gear or in the box. And if you have that vocal air and you're doing it in the box, it's so hard to get that kind of way.
To get it right.
And again, I mean, I didn't think it was too much in my personal opinion, but again, this is why I love this, talking about it, because it's all opinion,
totally
right?
Yep, totally objective.
Yeah, that's, I mean, incredibly difficult unless you've got like a $8,000 preamp that
like
is awful. So yeah,
and a cheeky U47.
Yeah,
you
just,
know, that you can
you know,
rely on industry standard, like ridiculously expensive microphones. But
yeah, I mean, right there, we're talking about $30,000 worth of stuff just to add vocal air. You know, like when you're talking about it like that, it's hard work. So
unreal.
That was a fun one. We haven't had anything. I don't think we've had a pop song like that on the podcast yet. So I think that might be our first.
Yeah, it was quite unique in that sense. So yeah, thanks for sending that in.
Thank you.
Cracking.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
On to the next one.
Hello, my name is Ollie Moed, and I'm a 26-year-old music artist and songwriter currently living in London. I would love to introduce to you a very personal song of mine called Hero. I wrote Hero when my father, who's very close to me, started suffering with anxiety for the first time in his life. And it was really hard seeing how much he was trying to hide it from me and internalize it, because he didn't want to add to my problems or to worry me, when really all I wanted to do was repay him for all the guidance, support and love he's given me in my life, and to be there for him. So I wrote Hero as a plea to my dad to let me in and to let him know that it's okay not to be okay, regardless of your age, your gender, or what else is going on in the world. We're only human. So yeah, that's a bit of a backstory to the song. I really hope you enjoy it. And you can find me online on all social medias and all streaming platforms under the name Ollie Wade. So I hope you enjoy the song, and thank you.
You don't have to stand so tall. I see right through it all. And I don't know why it's a weakness to cry. You're not on your own. You built those walls so high, I've had no chance to climb. You've closed that door, but I know there's more. You're just not the same. And tell me why you won't let me in. After all this time trying, my patience wears thin. You're not a hero, and God knows that you're not a saint. So put down all your weapons, there's no one to blame. You say it's just one bad day, but how long have you
That's
felt?
so nice.
Lovely, lovely, lovely song.
Inspired songwriting with an amazing background story, and I absolutely massively respect the message behind this music, and massively respect Ollie for sending in and describing, you know, such a personal one, because that takes guts. So thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
thank you so
really.
much.
Like straight away you can tell Ollie is an absolute top man. Like,
yeah, lovely bloke.
Like, what a beautiful touch, writing a song for your dad.
What a geezer, eh, Tom?
What a geezer. Geezer. Yeah, I just thought it was a lovely touch, mate, writing a song for your dad like this, and straight away it connects the audience to the meaning. And when I was sitting down listening to it, I was like, you've been personal with us, I'd love to be personal with you. And it kind of reminds me, I remember very vividly the day that it dawned on me that my mum didn't have it all figured out. You know, when you're like young and you think like, oh, nothing will ever hurt them. They have everything figured out.
Superheroes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember I was 14 or 15 and she sat my brother and I down and told us that she had bipolar. And it's one of those moments in life where you just sit down and like, it just hits you like a ton of bricks because you're like, wow. So, you know, or it's silly like thinking about it now because you're like, well, of course they're people and of course they have feelings. But when you're that age, you're like, you know, things hit you like that. And I think Ollie speaks some very familiar truths in this song to me. And I'm sure everyone else that listens to it can pick something out of the song. So
yeah,
I loved listening to it and I thought it was beautifully written.
Yeah.
Straight away, as soon as I heard the English accent, I knew I was going to love it. So, and especially because you're living in London. It's my hometown. So that's straight away excites me. And I love the melody. I think it's a really nicely written melody, complements your voice nicely, Ollie, which I'll always pick out from a songwriter's perspective, especially if you're a songwriter / artist.
Mm-hmm.
If you can write music that fits with your voice, you've just taken yourselves up a notch right there.
A singer-songwriter.
Singer-songwriter, exactly. And, you know, like, as we spoke about, the lyrics are so pure.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a lot of people, probably everyone that listens to this, being able to relate in some way. I love the harmonies as well that come in to the chorus section there. At first, I was going to say during my kind of feedback section, like I would have just liked those harmonies to be turned up a bit, and I was actually writing them down. Like, and then the next section comes in and the harmonies are right there locked in exactly where they needed to be. And I thought that was awesome. My favorite part of this whole song is actually the bridge. And I like the bridge, or the middle eight, if you're American. I think Ollie smashes the vocal performance. I think the lyrics are incredibly personal in this particular section. And I know it's not in the clip. So please, I implore you to head to the Spotify playlist that we have of all the artists we feature. This song will be in there. Listen out for the bridge because it's an awesome, awesome bridge. You know, I had to really sit and listen to this song with a fine-tooth comb again, like so many weeks, and think, what would I add if I was in this session with Ollie and the producer? You know, I had to really put my headphones on, turn it up, and there's a frequency in the vocal range that I would have just taken down a little bit. And there's a phrase in the production world of it's going to sound terrible, but this is just what it is de-honk, like that honkiness, like the kind of not nasally, almost nasally. And it's just the frequencies that the mic picks up. You wouldn't hear that live. But again, you just have to duck that out, probably around the 600 to 800 range. But again, I had to listen to that really, really carefully. And, you know, I would have just added a tiny little bit more reverb to the acoustic guitar. I'm a sucker for Little Plate by Sound Toys. I've used it for years. I think it sounds great on everything. And it's just one of those things. It's the first thing I would have slapped on, like a guitar bus, threw that reverb on. But other than that, man, I loved everything about the song. I thought it was a work of art, honestly.
It's so funny when whenever we do this, obviously you go first, and I'm like literally ticking off the things. Like as you're saying it, like, oh, I was going to say that. Oh, I was going to say that. But it's class because obviously we're hearing the same things and we're reaffirming, because me and Tom have not prepared this in any way, like together, like, oh, you talk about that and I'll talk about this. Like, this is organically our opinions. So it's really cool when they do match. And yeah, like, do you not think it's funny, Tom, how this is our second song we've had where it's like about your dad being a hero? Because we had
we had Nicole from Nigeria. Yeah.
Singing about my dad's a superhero. So yeah, the dads are clearly getting repped on this show, which I'm loving.
You know, we're a manly podcast.
we're a manly podcast.
Neither Andy or I are dads, but
But yeah, the lyrics and the melodies in this song are stunning. I love the opener, you know, you don't have to stand so tall, I'll help you through it all. It's just so real, open lyricism. Love it, absolutely love it. The vocal jumps are what attracted me the most. So when he goes, don't have to stand so tall, and then when it goes, through it all, you know, there's that kind of extra excitement, but it's the same phrasing. Love that. Really nice vocal hook. The acoustic guitars, lovely. Panned hard right and left to allow the centre image to be his voice, and, you know, the space that his voice has got with that lovely reverb and very emotive vocal performance. So really enjoyed that. And for the listeners who want to check out Ollie's full track, I highly recommend it, because we've played the start of this because I just loved the way it opened, but this track really evolves and really builds towards the end of the track. So I would fully recommend giving that a check out. It's a really nice overall track in terms of the dynamic growth and the evolution, like I've said. So yeah, brilliant. I completely ticked when you said the honk region, because yep, that's what I picked out. Again, it's not that Ollie's got a nasally voice, it's just the frequency that I think the mics picked up a wee bit too much of. You know, so yep, notching that 1K region, or, you know, wherever that sits for him, would have just been, you know, the icing on the cake in terms of just kind of bringing that out a wee bit. And for me, just a little bit of addition of the low end and the acoustics would have just, you know, added that low end. It's always difficult when the acoustics are sitting on the hard pan sides, because you don't want too much low end reaching your side, you know, of your channels. You always want to try and have your low end staying pretty much mono signal in the middle, but you can, with this kind of track, there's a bit of leeway there. So I would have liked a wee bit more of that, but that's really it. I loved that song, and thank you so much for sending it, and thank you so much for being open and honest, telling us about the lyrics, about the song, and I wish you all the best with it, because I really hope that people find some comfort in those words and can relate in some way, and it's been lovely to listen to it.
It has, yeah. And like I know we said about the I hate saying the honk, but that's just like the phrase that it's not a bad thing. That could be, that's not Ollie's voice doing that.
Nah.
It could be the room. It could be the way the room's reverberating. And it's something you'd only pick it out if you had producer's ears, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that you listen out for. But yeah, that's not Ollie. I can't reiterate that. It's either the mic or the room that's done that.
Yeah. Cool. Let's go to the next one.
Please.
Hi, this is Jordan Taylor Moed, and you're listening to the Songwriters Lounge podcast, and this is my new single, Finding Atlantis.
They always say that'll be the day when I finally make headway, fueling the soul and crushing the blues. Just another day of paying my dues. It's New Year's Eve without a broken heart, and enjoying life's run without hate restored. But then I sing my song to that faithful day, for when life gets through that doorway, oh yeah. When life's out of control, when it's taking a toll, oh. Back to the better days come my way, where my smile doesn't fade. I wanna see it with my own eyes, alive without compromise. It's coming into sight, but I don't try to start fight. Whoa, we're finding Atlantis tonight.
Finding Atlantis. Yeah.
Aye. Rock and roll.
That was some serious
boys.
hair metal vibes. Like
Rock and roll.
rock and roll, man. Yes.
Yeah, very hair metal. Like Steel
like
Panther.
classic rock. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
good.
wrote down it reminded me of the UK band The Darkness almost.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
get that.
believe in a thing called love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, great song. Firstly, I wanted to say that, you know, Andy and I are lucky enough to meet so many musicians from all over the world on the podcast, and you'd be hard pushed to find a nicer guy than Jordan. Like, he's just such a good guy. And we've worked with a few. Matt Marcy springs to mind. What a great guy.
Yeah.
And
What a
Jordan
bloke.
joins that brigade.
The brigade of good guys.
Brigade of good guys. Sounds like a club, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. It's unique because it has so many elements of different genres. Even just in that one clip, it had like a very pop vocal melody delivered with a rock and roll vocal, which is really cool. I like that. The guitar is obviously, you know, distorted, rock and roll, what you'd expect. The drums are hard hitting, rock and roll guitar tone. No getting away from that.
Oh, it was really nice. Yeah.
You guys didn't hear it, but again, like, check it out in the Spotify playlist. It has a guitar solo. So the second song that I think we're featuring on the podcast with a guitar solo, and love a good guitar solo. Doesn't happen enough nowadays. And in the solo, one thing I picked out from the solo section is they kind of changed up the kick and snare pattern slightly, which I always like to see. What would I add if I was in the production booth with Jordan or the songwriting session? Similar to the first song we listened to, I found it a little bit hard to define the verses and choruses. There was not much in the way of like a production variation to them. It just very much straight, like almost like you listen to it live, you know, which is probably what they've gone for. Which, hey, I'm no one to say anything about that, but it's just what I pick out. And I thought I lost the vocal in the mix at times, and I would have maybe experimented with a multi-band compressor or dynamic EQ. You know, the Fab Filter Pro Q3 does all of that. And I would just pulled back some of those mid-range frequencies that were fighting a little bit with Jordan's voice, mainly from the electric guitar, which again is a hard instrument to mix because it just wants to take control. And just finding the balance between the vocal and the electric guitar can be something that takes some trial and error. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm a rock and roll fan, Andy. This is right on my street.
He's going to dress up in hair metal attire for Halloween. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'll have this on like a
Inspired.
boom box on my shoulder. Just
Get
like,
the spandex on or whatever you call it.
I've got him.
Class. No, I loved it. Yeah, I was rocking out. Love a bit of, I think it's called vocal fry. So that kind of like really harsh kind of raspiness of a rock vocal. Like for me, you either have people who are just like naturally gifted with having a vocal fry vocal, which Jordan may have, or if he's like technically doing that. I've tried to learn how to do it myself, just can't do it. So respect, hats off for that, because it's a really good rock vocal sound that he's got there. And really, this track for me is just selling live musicianship. Like the whole track is just like inspiring the listener to be like, go see this band melt your face off by playing this track live. You know, it's like the drums were well played, the guitars were well played, it was energetic, it was punchy, like drummer really, you know, clearly a talented guy behind that kind of. What I really liked with the drums and the guitars is that bit where it kind of withheld, and the guitars did that kind of harmonic, kind of squeaking, pan muty bit before then crunching back into the full chords. And whilst they were doing that, you know, the drummer was on the toms before then crashing back into everything. I loved that. That for me is exactly what I'm looking for in a song to create, you know, dynamic shifts and excitement. to keep me interested, keep me guessing what's coming and that kind of thing is brilliant. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And I loved the fact that we had that on the show, which is again a new kind of genre for us. I don't think we've had anything like this on yet, which is great. Again, we want to showcase all sorts of genres, and this is no exception. I think critique-wise, the mix instantly when I heard it was just a wee bit on the muddy side for me. There was a lot. I mean, there is always going to be a real challenge with rock music, balancing the low end. So you've got the kick competing with the bass guitar, competing with the low end of the electric guitars, because you don't want your electric guitars to lack that low end, because they'll just sound really thin and lack that rock thickness and crunch of the guitars that everyone expects to hear and love. So there's always that really delicate balance, and I struggle with it massively. So I think that's all I would say, is that clean up around about that 100 to 200 hertz region. I don't know if there's some side, maybe it's too much side low end. So I don't know, if a side EQ again on the Pro Q3 would have helped to just kind of bring that into the centre and that, regain some of that mono signal in the middle. And yeah, like you, hit it again, nail on the head for me. Just a bit more distinction between the chorus and the verses. So because there was so much going on, I was following it all, but I didn't really know when the chorus began. And it was only at the end of, I think, his hook where he sung about the line, finding Atlantis. I was like, oh, we've just passed the chorus, because I was still maybe expecting it to go to that chorus hook. So that's just a kind of structural thing, again, both in the vocal melody and the instrumentation. But yeah, that's really it for me. And I loved hearing that different genre, because I listen to a lot of kind of old school classic rock, and I do really like it. So this was cool to hear a submission like that. So thanks for sending that in, Jordan, and welcome to the brigade of good guys.
Welcome, brother.
Your badge is in the post. I think at Tom's expense, because he created the brigade.
Expense, yeah. I'll sort you out, mate. I'll sort you out.
He'll sort you out. Right, so we're just gonna now go completely off kilter, aren't we, Tom?
A little bit. We're gonna try something different this week.
Gonna mix it up, keep it fresh, try something different, and give you guys a bit of an insight into us. And we thought, what better way to do that than to just have a complete mess around live on podcast, and it may go tits up, or it may go quite well. So
we'll see. I guess we'll see. Please let us know, guys, if we're being pricks or if you like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a bit kind of come and go with these things. But yeah, we're gonna basically challenge each other, aren't we, Tom?
We're gonna try. We're gonna see who comes off the winner, and we're gonna have a game of two truths and a lie.
Yeah.
And so if you've never played the game before, we'll each say three things. Two of them will be the truth, one will be a lie, and then it's up to us to pick out the lie.
To decipher. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, do you want to go first, Andy? Ladies first.
Ladies first. Thank you.
I'm a gentleman.
I'm just sensitive. So, my three, and this is based on the music production theme, right? So we're trying to keep it topical. So my three are, I have spent over £3,000, so £3,000 in plugins and music equipment gear in the studio. Number one. Number two, I have only ever used Logic Pro X to produce my music. And number three, I never use, as a matter of principle, the spectrum analyzers on any of the EQ plugins I use. I just always switch them off.
Okay, this is a good one. So I know that Andy mixes in Logic. So I think the only ever used Logic, I think that's true. Now it's this one that is tying me up, because I know how much plugins and music equipment and gear cost. So I think that I've spent over $3,000 in plugins and music equipment /gear is also true, I'm going to say the lie is that you do use spectrum analyzers and may find them helpful at times.
Totally. Bang on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm ashamed to say I have spent well over $3,000 in audio equipment.
We all have.
Sorry, mum and dad and fiance, for admitting that. But yes, it's an expensive hobby. This, and we've got to invest. And yep, I've only ever used Logic Pro X to actually produce. That's not saying that I've not experienced other DAWs, which I have, but to actually the outcome of my productions all been Logic. And yeah, like as much as I've heard of producers saying, I never use the spectrum analyzers because I always just rely on my ears, I admire you, but I still get quite a lot of feedback from the spectrum analyzers. So that's a lie.
Yeah, because I know that Andy and I use the same EQ. We use the Pro Q3, and I know it's so helpful at times.
So helpful
with the analyzer. So that's the only reason I said that.
Yeah.
So I guess it's my turn. So
go for it.
Again, we've got 3 themes today. This first one is music production, as Andy said. So, number 1, I am mostly self-taught. Number 2, I quickly get frustrated with the recording process and have to walk away for a while. And 3, I can use more than one DAW.
So I'm going to say straight away, I think you can use more than one DAW because they're quite transferable. I mean, they all do look different, don't get me wrong, but I think even though I'm a Logic guy, if you were to give me, FL Studio or something, I'm sure I could work my way around it. So I'm going to say that's true. I quickly get frustrated with the recording process. I mean, don't we all? Have to walk away for a while. That could... I am mostly self-taught, I'm going to say is true. So I'm going to say you don't quickly...
Spot on. Yeah, spot on, mate.
Did I get that?
Yeah,
yes.
that was almost a trick question because if you take out the recording process and replace that with production, that's when I really annoy myself and I can quickly destroy a mix and then have to reset everything and come back. Yeah. 1-1 so far.
1-1. Oh.
England versus Scotland, 1-1.
Okay. Well,
so next round, Andy.
This round's going to be a bit more kind of vague potentially because this is about playing live and live performance and that kind of stuff, both of which me and Tom have done. So I'll kick it off. So my first one is I played a Halloween gig in the infamous Barrowlands in Glasgow. Not the main stage. I'd love that, but we all started the set in scary masks, like Halloween masks, obviously. And I forgot that I couldn't actually sing through my mask. So very quickly, as I was starting to attempt to sing, I had to rip the bloody thing off. So that's number 1. Number 2 is I once played a whole song in the wrong tuning.
Okay.
Live, of course, at an open mic night after one too many beers. And 3, for a friend's gig, I got on stage to perform a song with him on the ukulele. This is completely unrehearsed. After the acoustic guitar pickup completely blew up live on stage.
Okay.
So all quite interesting scenarios.
Yeah, and there's a couple of them that are very specific. So I do think that you played a Halloween gig in Barrowlands where you wore scary masks and you couldn't sing. I also think that you got on stage and performed with the ukulele after the guitar blew up. And I think the second one, the whole song in the wrong tuning, is a lie.
Well, you're wrong.
Oh, I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Oh, no.
You're wrong. So, yes, I played a Halloween gig, but I didn't actually... I've rigged it. I've basically rigged it.
Oh,
so
trick question again.
The musicians weared a mask, but I just dressed up in something different so I could still sing. So I've done you.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I completely played a whole song in the wrong tuning. Can you believe that? I was too drunk to notice.
Was it in drop D or
yeah?
Open G?
It was in open. I think it would have been like open D or something.
That must have sounded tragic as well.
Honestly,
if
like,
you
I thought I had a really, really good session. And,
well, yeah, you would have done after a few beers.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I count that as 2-1 to me.
Well, hopefully we can now make it 2-2. All right, so again, staying with the live show. So, in my old band, our keyboard player once accidentally hit the audio loop button on his keyboard when we were playing a really big show, and then circus music started playing through the giant PA system. I once ran out of drumsticks, broke too many of them, a show, and I had to finish the gig with one stick and my shoe.
Shut up.
Or I've split my head open more than once with my own drumsticks while playing live.
Right. This is a good one.
Yeah, this is...
The circus music is really throwing me here. Like, circus music? What?
I could explain more, but I think I've probably already given away that that's true.
Right, so I'm gonna call the circus music one as true.
Yep.
Yes. I'm gonna call you out on being a liar for surely you didn't finish a gig with one stick and a shoe.
No, that's true.
What?
Yeah, I broke, I think, 4 sticks in one show, and I had to pick up my Vans at the time and finish. Yeah, that's true.
On the ride?
On the cymbal. Luckily, like I was in like a heavy rock band, so it was a lot of just crash cymbal ride.
Oh,
so I finished. Yeah,
and that's good.
no one noticed. So, but yeah, our keyboard player did play circus music. It was the yeah, that started playing through the PA, and everyone was like,
"Oh dear!"
And he looked at the live sound engineer behind the booth and was screaming at him because he was, and we were like, "Jeez. Jack, that's you, mate." It was no. That was after a couple of beers as well, I must admit.
Yeah. Oh well.
So 2-2.
Live and learn.
Right.
2-2. So one more for the championship, shall we say?
Yeah.
Episode 9 championship. Right. Okay.
This has got to be it.
We'll keep the theme for this one is songwriting. So first one, I have never yet wrote a song without any hand in the lyrics of the song itself. The first song I wrote and produced was a full-scale orchestral musical theatre style ballad. And my first songs I wrote were exclusively about my depressing teenage heartbreaks.
Okay, well, I think that's true, that last one.
What would give you that impression?
Because you've already told me in this podcast that you used to do that.
All right, okay.
So, I know you're a lyric man. So I think the lie is the second one, the orchestral music.
You're wrong.
What, really?
So bizarrely enough, right, this is one of the reasons I got into production was because I started hearing like these orchestral type, massive ballads, and I'm a massive fan, as you know, of musical theatre. So I wanted this big Miss Saigon-esque, Bubel and Schoenberg, brass, strings and everything. And that's really what forced me to learn production because I could then use, virtual instruments to make that happen. Because I can't write, obviously, like Mozart without, with just pen and paper on a score. So yeah, that's the bizarre thing that got me into my first ever. Now the mix was horrendous because I was learning.
Of course.
It was my first introduction to the production world. So yeah.
Oh, I like that, man. I like that a lot. Right, so I mean, this is for the win, right? So I mean, the draw or my win? The draw or your win. So,
pressure's on.
Number 1, I have released music in 10 different genres. 2, I can comfortably play 4 instruments. What I mean by comfortably is I could turn up to a session and just pick it up and start playing it.
Okay.
Number 3, my music has been purchased by a few very famous people.
Pressure is on, Tom.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
I'm going to say the lie is you have not released music in 10 genres.
Yeah, that is a lie. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, because I can't even, the only the only logic I came to there was I can't even sit here right now, think of 10 genres.
And name genres, yeah. Very close. I think it's like 8 or 9 I'm in right now. But,
it's class. So who's the famous people that have...
well, our favourite one was, James Bay.
No way.
Yeah, so he came to a
Come
few of our
on,
shows. He bought a couple of our
go.
T-shirts, bought
Nice.
our EP. I know the guitarist in Mumford & Sons, so the Mumford & Sons lads.
Is it the banjo player or the lead guy?
The lead, he plays banjo and lead.
Ah, yeah.
Solid guy, yeah. He went to college with me. And
That's good.
the guys in Disturbed.
Disturbed.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
heavy.
maybe some more, I don't know. If you're out there, let me know. I'd love to know.
That's class.
But yeah,
That is some
that was
seriously fun facts, but it all was meaningless because I won.
yeah. I mean, I guess Scotland is the winner of this time round. But
And if we're still celebrating my Scottish culture now because I'm the winner, this really nicely goes into what we're gonna show you, which is what we said at the start of the show, which is some wee cheeky demos of stuff that we're working on. It's not polished, it's not fully mixed. It will sound a bit crap, but it gives you an idea of kind of what we're working on, and just gives you yourself a bit of insight into what we do. So the first thing I've got is a Scottish traditional song. It's like a ballad that I've been working on since I think around August, and I reached out to some musicians on Facebook because I was like I do often. I build a song with virtual instruments. And there's the key melody and the key instrument, the lead instrument is like a Celtic flute or a Celtic whistle. And I just really wanted that human performance. So I'm gonna show you now. This is the performance with my VST first, and then I'm gonna show you what this incredible performer did and what what it does to the track to evolve it. So this is first with the VST. So that was the VST. Now listen to the difference when I got a very talented player to play on the track. So yeah, what a difference I think that made. What do you think, Tom?
yeah, man, it makes a vast difference, doesn't it? Like
A vast difference.
Just
I'm
like-
so glad that I reached out, and not everything on the track, is musician. A lot of it is me playing on a virtual, but I think this just took it to another level for me. So I'm very thankful. It's a talented man called David. Cheers, Dave, because you've done a top-notch job for me, my man.
yeah, it's so much richer. Like
Yeah,
sounds, and the softness of the piano behind it. Loved it, man. Loved it.
thank you.
I'm excited to hear the full thing when you got the singer on it and everything.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be too long. COVID
Sweet.
providing, it's always difficult to try and get vocals tracked at the moment, but yeah,
Of course
we'll
it
get
is,
there.
yeah.
What you got?
So this is a song that I started working on with my friend David Owens, who is an incredible singer. He was on The Voice in the USA. He got chosen by Kelly Clarkson to be on Kelly Clarkson's team.
Oofed.
So he's got some
Nice.
pedigree. We started writing the song and I took it to my friend Grant, who was like just the synth guy. And yeah, we started doing this thing, put some guitar over it, some piano, and we still need to finish it, but this is it now. I hope to hear some good feedback from it.
You came and you set me free from this life of misery. Now I'm down on my knees, begging you please for your sympathy. Please, 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 won't you set me free?
So yeah, that was my poor vocal performance on it to send to some singers. But yeah, you get
Wouldn't
the
make
gist.
Kelly's team, are you saying?
Super dark, which is weird because it wasn't that dark when we wrote on the acoustic guitar, but I think the synth just added so much darkness to it. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you guys posted, and you'll hear that soon. So
Very soundscapey.
Oh,
I liked
well, we tried to.
And some cheeky brass in there as well. Kind of synth.
Some kind of brass synth that we added, and then
The kind of LFO and the raspiness. Quite
yeah,
like that.
Grant is the synth dude that
Is
added
he?
the like
I take it you were responsible for the slide guitar.
all that guitar is me, and it's inspired by.
Loves a slide guitar.
This one's actually not. I don't think it's got one slide in it,
Is it not?
so you'd be
I thought I heard
mistaken.
a slide.
It's a bend, actually. That's a bend.
Okay, all right.
But that guitar is inspired by Lethal Weapon. If you've watched those movies, like it's kind of got that very. I tried to nail the tone into that. So if you guys know what I'm talking about, watch Lethal Weapon. You'll get that kind of guitar vibe. But yeah, man, I
liked it.
intrigued to see where it goes.
Is it in a minor key?
C sharp minor.
I could tell. It was very instantly sad. Instantly made me
Instantly,
sad.
it's like, ooh, where is this going?
Cool.
What have you got next, man?
I've got one more next. So this is a cheeky R&B soul type kind of rhythm that I've been working on for an artist, just off the back of a voice note she sent me, and obviously soul kind of jazz artist. So yeah, have a listen to this. Let me know what you think.
Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah.
It's very different from what
It's
from
very
your
different,
previous
isn't it?
stuff.
Yeah, it's very different. But yeah, I mean, quite enjoying it. It's certainly not a kind of rhythmical arrangement I usually do. So
Yeah, it's very. It's like
Yeah.
very kind of like
very
head boppy.
triplety,
Very.
kind of offbeat syncopation type stuff. Aye.
that's what I wrote down. Just like the bass is so syncopated.
Yeah.
I don't think it goes like it doesn't hit with the drums at any point, which I
No.
love.
And I quite liked so like I've got obviously the kick, which is at the start, but I've got this big like verby hit at the back, so it's boom, 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 and I just quite like that instead of like using like a hat like to ride or something like that, or I just quite liked another low end hit, like deepness. Yeah, I liked it. So
I mean,
if you liked
I'm,
it, so
yeah, I'm
it's good.
intrigued to see where you go with it, man. Because
Yeah, we'll see. It's not mixed, so you know that's pretty raw there. And there's some elements that definitely I'm listening to it now, going, oop, need to sort that. So, but yeah, that's where we are.
that's the beauty of it, though.
That's the beauty.
Work in progress. I've got like 30 of them right now.
Yes.
The one you heard being one of them.
Always work in progress, isn't there? So, we're now going to experiment to top the end of this show off, and we're going to ask you some questions. So, obviously, myself and Tom, you've heard us for a number of weeks now answering your questions that you've submitted to us, which we have loved. We are now interested actually in spinning it up, and understanding kind of what your opinions are. So instead of you guys asking the questions, like I've got some questions that I want on the show, you know, and I want to hear your guys, you know, like-minded songwriters, producers. I want to hear what you guys have to kind of input as well. So yeah, we want you guys to send us, your DM answers very quickly on Instagram at Songwriters Lounge _, or send a voice note to submissions@songwriterslounge.net. So we'll then play your answers live in the show, and then we'll just discuss it, and it gives you the ability to share your knowledge back to us as well, because we're keen to learn, guys. Keen to learn.
Always.
So my first question, guys, is from the production stance, and excluding the basics like panning and level, what were some of the kind of key breakthroughs that you guys experienced using EQ that allowed you to really achieve the clear separation between the instruments and avoid that kind of dreaded overlapping of frequencies? So that's something I still to this day struggle with. Give me your thoughts. That'd be great.
That's a good question. I'm intrigued for that one.
Yeah.
And then mine, Andy went with like a production-based question. I thought I'd go with the songwriting one. Is there such a thing as a bad song, or is a bad song an uncompleted good song? So you can flip it both ways. Is there such a thing as a bad song, or is it just an unfinished idea that needs to be polished? I'd love to know your thoughts.
Yeah, philosophical-ish.
Kind of.
Cool.
We'll see.
Nice. Well, thanks, guys. That wraps up this episode.
Oi, oi. Episode 9.
So please do join us for episode 10 and have your say on those questions that we've just... So if you need to reverse, 30 seconds, listen to them again, DM us. It's really quick and easy. It'll take you seconds of your time, but it will allow us to get your feedback and share your knowledge with the rest, and you can say that you're on the podcast, which is class.
Sweet. Well, love the songs, love playing the game. Unfortunately, I lost, but we'll
So
see.
he's not a sore loser, at least, so we'll still be
try not
pals.
to be.
We'll still be pals.
But-
And don't forget, guys, we've got a giveaway, which is ending shortly, isn't it, Tom?
Yep, that'll be ending at the weekend. So, and then we'll let you know how to purchase some merch if you'd like to, but win
In
yourself
fact,
some merch.
you guys, by the time you hear this, will have missed it. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned for more giveaways.
Sorry, guys.
And thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a blast.
Thanks, guys.